The ballroom glowed with chandeliers and laughter, yet I felt like furniture no one noticed. My mother raised her glass, her voice sharp enough to slice through the music. "Some of us worked hard," she said proudly, "and others begged me for rent." Pathetic at her age. Heads turned instantly. People who once hugged me now stared as if I were contagious. I saw smirks, raised brows, and whispered judgments. My partner's hand tightened around mine, stunned and speechless. My mother didn't reveal a secret. She detonated a bomb. On her 60th birthday, she didn't honor life. She used her celebration to bury my dignity. In that single moment, I didn't crumble. I awakened to a truth I never wanted. Everyone assumed I struggled because I lacked discipline. They never knew I worked overtime to pay my sister's tuition when scholarships fell through. They ignored how I drained my savings to clear my parents' debts when collectors called relentlessly. They thanked me publicly for supporting the family business, yet never paid me a salary. They boasted about stability while I silently shouldered responsibilities they pretended were theirs. My request for rent wasn't a plea for help. It was a moment of exhaustion after years of rescuing everyone else. My mother twisted it into failure because acknowledging my sacrifices meant admitting hers were illusions. They erased every contribution I made and left only the one moment that served their narrative. Appearances ruled our household. My mother worshipped status symbols the way others cherish values. My sister strutted in designer clothes bought with loans she could barely afford, yet she was praised as successful. Every brunch, every holiday, was staged like a theater performance, complete with glamorous smiles and hidden panic. Meanwhile, I paid bills quietly, negotiated payment plans, and shielded the family from financial collapse. My efforts lacked sparkle, so they lacked worth. In their eyes, success wasn't built, it was performed. They valued applause more than integrity. When they mocked me, it wasn't because I failed. It was because I refused to pretend. I wasn't the problem. I was the mirror exposing everything they didn't want seen. I sat behind the steering wheel long after the celebration ended. The engine was off, but my thoughts raced. Their laughter replayed in my mind like a cruel soundtrack. I realized I had spent years auditioning for a role that came without love. I was the helper, the listener, the fixer, never the equal. Every insult I tolerated became evidence that I expected nothing better. For the first time, I saw myself clearly. Not a failure, but a hostage to obligation. That realization snapped something inside me. I didn't slam doors or deliver speeches. I simply disengaged. I stopped defending myself, stopped explaining my choices, and stopped giving energy to a family that only valued me when I was useful. I redirected my frustration into ambition. I built a consulting firm from skills they mocked as unrealistic dreams. Companies drowning in inefficiency contacted me after a single presentation. I analyzed their systems, redesigned processes, and delivered results others couldn't. Each contract signed felt like reclaiming a piece of dignity my family tried to strip away. Within a year, my income surpassed anything they ever imagined for me. The boardrooms that welcomed me didn't ask about my past. They valued my clarity and courage. I didn't chase validation. I built something undeniable. Every decision I made transformed pain into power, proving that the problem wasn't my ability. It was the environment that refused to recognize it. My phone rang unexpectedly. My mother's voice trembled, stripped of arrogance. My sister's mortgage had defaulted, credit cards are maxed, and lenders were calling nonstop. Their glittering lifestyle had finally collapsed. She asked for help as if our past didn't matter, as if humiliation could be forgiven with a single request. I listened quietly, and something remarkable happened. I felt nothing. No rage, no satisfaction, just clarity. Their emergencies were the consequences of choices they glorified. My silence wasn't revenge. It was freedom from a life sentence of responsibility. I finally understood that saving them meant losing myself again. This time, I chose me. The moment I declined, the family chat ignited. Messages poured in, guilt disguised as affection, anger disguised as concern. They demanded explanations, called me selfish, and acted shocked I didn't rescue them again. My mother tried rewriting history, insisting her birthday speech was just a joke. But silence became my boundary. Without my support, their carefully curated reputation dissolved. Friends stopped visiting, bills piled up, and gossip lost its power. They expected me to fold, but I didn't. They discovered something terrifying. A person they once controlled no longer needed their approval. My absence echoed louder than their insults. They finally felt the weight I carried alone for years. Today, I walk into a home I own with cash, not apologies. My days are filled with purpose, not explanations. I sponsor programs for adults rebuilding their lives, people who remind me that worth comes from resilience, not applause. I don't crave my family's recognition anymore. Freedom arrived the moment I stopped begging for a seat at a table built on vanity. My mother's toast didn't destroy me, it exposed the truth. That humiliation became the fuel that rebuilt my identity. I didn't lose a family. I outgrew a stage. My life finally belongs to me, and for the first time, breathing doesn't feel like asking for permission. It feels like living.